this episode I'm going to have a look at the pistons from my T140V Bonneville 1975 build for a 1976 model year. I've had some issues trying to get the heads off the barrels, and I don't think I'm actually going to succeed with that in the short term, but I thought I'll have a look at the pistons as well. And somebody in the comments had put something about the barrels that caught my interest, sent me down a rabbit hole. So if you hang on till the end, I'll tell you what I think I've found out, and in the comments you can put me right. Anyway, it's a T140V. I'm turning it into a resto mod desert sled type thing. Really looking forward to riding this in the spring, so I really need to pull my finger out. It might seem like it's a long way away, but when you've only got a couple of days a week to spend on it, I need to use that time wisely. So I'm going to crack on, clean the pistons up, have another look at the barrels, and then I'll give you some sort of rational thoughts about what I might do going on from here with that part of the engine. Now, before I go any further with cleaning or attacking these, I want to investigate something that somebody in the comments had put that then sent me down a rabbit hole of something I hadn't even considered or thought of. Interesting thing. Magnetic. Could be stainless. It's a thought. And I would have expected these to be magnetic. And they're not. Now I can't see any part numbers on, but you can see the Triumph logo there. So I went down a rabbit hole of trying to work out whether these were a specific type of barrels and pistons. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these to one side and let them drain off a little bit, and then I'll get the pistons cleaned and have a look at them. Yes, it is rain. But anyway, these are the three piston rings that are seized in the, and probably just by carbon. I don't think it's by anything else more malicious. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pop these in the oven, heat them up to probably 200 degrees, then give a little bit of wedgeration in the middle there, and hopefully it'll pop the piston rings free. There we go, let's leave them in there for half an hour or so on 200 degrees. Although I've got it started, I don't really want to put too much pressure on until I'm sure it's come out of the land all the way around, and it still seems to be a bit stuck at the back. So I'm just gonna keep easing it because I don't want to break them yet. I really don't. Let's try and work my way around it. I think we're looking like we're nearly there. You get to this point and then it goes snap, because they are fairly brittle. Let that one go. I'll do the other side. Just working my way around the other side now, hopefully. Just give it, it looks like it's all free. No, I suspect I can get that off now. There we go. Amazing how having the right tool really helps. Excellent. Go. Lovely. So I'm going to keep the same rings with the same pistons. I'd like to buy new rings, but I'm not sure if I can get them yet for these particular pistons, and I'll tell you about that later. Now this should be marked for what is the top. I can't see it on the compression ring, but I know that's the way up it was. The oil scraper ring, where you put the notched side down, so that's pretty clear. And with this one, it does say top just about there. Don't know if you can see that. So the only one I've got to concern myself with about keeping it the same way up is this one, and I might find there's a marking on it later when I clean them up. As insane as it sounds, I'm going to leave this for an hour or two in white vinegar. I use white vinegar for cleaning out tanks and things, but hopefully it'll have some impact on the corrosion or the carbon really in between the ring, which is the one I can't get out. It's a little bit warm, this. All the others came out okay with a bit of heat. I gave this one a lot of heat and it wasn't doing it. So I'll leave it for an hour or two. I'm a bit nervous about the vinegar on the aluminium, but it's supposed to be okay. You never know, this might be a good way of cleaning pistons. Let's see how it comes out. Hallelujah, hallelujah. God, it's hot. Burning the gloves. Oh! Oh, I need some a bit. Right, now I've got it going, I'm pretty sure it's going to come out. What a good do. Oh God! Don't know how hot that is, but these on gloves are not doing it for me. Well, the good news is I've got the piston ring out. The bad news is I snapped it in half. Not to worry, I was thinking to try and get new piston rings for this if I'm using these pistons. I don't want to drag this video out any longer than I need to be honest. And you may say, well, how come you've cleaned one piston, you haven't cleaned the other? You think you might have done both? Well, the thing is, testing the magnetism of the what would be the cylinder liners have led me to believe that these barrels and the bores are actually quite late from Triumph, relatively speaking, 80s, LF Harris or whoever it was who was building them at the time, and that they're actually the Nickel coated ones. Now that starts to make quite a bit more sense with the pistons, which are slightly undersized, and the tight clearance. Now the pistons are Asso Verca, I'm not sure, Italian company. They're nicely made pistons, I can see that. And they were the ones I believe were used with the Nickel coated barrels. Now the good news with that is that they're supposed to last for virtually ever if you don't nick them or anything like that, and they do look in, you know, in good nick, that they'll run for a lot longer than the standard barrels. The also supposed to give less noise because it's a tighter clearance. Reason it's a tighter clearance, instead of an aluminium piston in a steel liner, it's an aluminium piston in an aluminium liner with a coating. it expands at the same rate. The steel would expand less than the aluminium with previous type of barrel and piston combination, so you had to have more clearance, less clearance, because they should expand at the same rate. So it makes sense. Problem that I've got, I still haven't got the head and the barrel apart. I've had another go heating up and such like. I don't think it's going to happen. Also, I read somewhere that I'm going to need different type of piston rings for use with the Nickersill. I'm really not sure about that, and it's something I do need to investigate, and I'll perhaps ask those nice people who helped me out with the CB when I needed other rings what their opinions are and what they've got. I suspect they'll come up with something. Now, I'm not going to spend any more time on cleaning this one and cleaning the head and the barrel at this moment, because one of the thoughts is to buy a new, to me, barrel, head, pistons, maybe the standard type, see if I can get hold of, you know, the set, so that I can build the engine up with that, and not worry at this stage about splitting the head from the barrel. That's one thought. Second thought was, send these away, and I'm going to have a chat with a couple of companies and see what they suggest, see if I can get someone else to split it and see what it's like. Now, it could be that in the process of doing that, that I don't end up with anything as usable as I'd like anyway. I mean, I don't know yet, and when you're machining things, or you're sending away things to be machined that are not pretty much a standard thing, there's always a risk something untoward happens. So I'll look into that, but I don't know if I'm going to do it. But another suggestion that was made, and this should get the comments really going haywire, was when I checked the barrels with some cleaner in it, they weren't leaking. And someone suggested, well, why not? And this wasn't in comments, this was elsewhere. Why not put the barrel and head back on as a whole unit? It looks like someone had been through it before they laid the bike up, because of the stainless studs, the fact it's got nice pistons, it's got barrels that were certainly not original, and it doesn't seem to be leaking. You do need to torque the Nickersill coated barrels down differently than the standard barrels, I believe, which might be why the head bolts seem to be reasonably loose, even though the head won't come off anyway, so it doesn't really matter, that does it? So that was one thought, which seems insane, but actually if I can get rings, it's the cheapest option. It may give me advantage of Nickersill bore, is that tighter clearances, which these seem to have, not as noisy an engine. The Nickersill bores, once they're running okay, last a lot longer before they need a rebore. Well, they won't ever need a rebore, will they? They'll just be knackered. Than the standard bores. So it is a thought not to machine it, to put it on, torque the head down, new rings, see how it goes. I'm leaning towards that, but I'm still leaning towards trying to buy different parts. You tell me what you think in the comments. Are any of these options sane? I really don't know. It's not a problem I expected to have. Why is it always pistons and bores that seem to catch me with these bikes at the moment? I had the same, or had similar issues with the CB 750 that I got. It's really annoying. I'd have thought I've had this engine ready for rebuilding by now. I've not even got the bottom end apart at all, and I do need to clean the sludge trap. So anyway, why not subscribe? See if I've gone insane, see if I do this, see if I am riding it in the spring. But thanks for watching anyway.